Hi everyone, hope you're all doing good. Okay, so this is the third round draw for the 27th edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard Game. In this round, we have just 10 people left in it already, from quite a big field, but now already down to the final 10. Just quickly run through those 10 names again. They are A, or A like miles off an A, so you just call him A for the sake of simplicity. Cool Hand Puke, Dr. Maxis 2, Foghorn Sam, KK Kombu, Mule Floyd, Sion 6, the MMA Historian, Ubermatch, and XCon Chris. Okay, so that's the final 10 for this game. And as I mentioned, this is the third round. And for the third round, we have UFC Fight Nights. Manel Cape versus Asu Al Mabayev. I think I pronounced that right. Probably haven't. Apologies if not. And it's a very, very close fight, in my opinion. This is probably one of the hardest to pick main events there's been for a while on Fight Night or uh, numbered event. Um, so Manel Cape, obviously, we'll start with him. He's got more UFC experience, so he's the, I suppose, he's like the one defending his position in the promotion. But yeah, as I say, he's fairly high ranking in the flyweight division, but I suppose in the flyweight division, given how shallow it is, that's not really doesn't take long to get a ranking if you string a few wins together. Um, One of the more entertaining fighters of flyweight for sure, because of he's one of the hardest hitters, if not the hardest hitter at flyweight. Um, so it's I say one against Bruno Silva in his last fight. Um, his only recent blemish on his record was his loss against oh fuck, was his name? Oh that fucking tool that got cut from the UFC for being a twat. Oh fuck, that's gonna frustrate. Yeah, the British guy. Oh, that's gonna annoy me. Fuck, what was his name? Well, anyway, he was a good fighter. Anyway, he only got cut for the UFC because of his behaviour. So I'm not gonna take that decision loss against Manuel Cape. Uh, as for Asu Almabayev, again, he's got the better looking record, 21-2, mostly decision wins, but against decent opponents so far in the UFC. There's most recent win being Mateus Nicolau. Um, for me, I think I just think that Almabayev is just looks more comfortable going over the distance, whereas I think Manel Cape, his best chance of win's probably by knockout. That's the thing because I'd give him a Cape knockout an almost equal chance of an Almabayev decision happening. So it's very close one, but I have just gone with Almabayev. I might change my mind on that later, but as it stands, I've gone with Almabayev. But anyway, you're not here to listen to my rambles. You're here to listen to see who you're getting drawn with. Um, anyway, so first up is A. Let's see who A gets drawn with. And he gets Ramazan Temirov right at the bottom of the cards. Ramazan Temirov. That's the opening fight up against Charles Johnson. Uh, Again, it's kind of a similar situation to the main event in a ironic kind of way. Very close fight, in my opinion. Both very experienced, with Charles Johnson being more uh having more UFC fights under his belt. Whereas Temirov, for instance, he only had one fight in the UFC, but that was a fairly impressive knockout win over CJ Figueroa, which again, funny enough, also in the flyweight division. Similarities between this and the main event are becoming more apparent. But um, anyways, the thing is, CJ Figueroa is not the strongest of opposition, so I'm not sure we learned too much from that fight. but got off to a good start. But for me, Charles Johnson's experience in the UFC fighting the higher level um, fighters that the UFC has to offer, for me that counts for more. So I've just gone with him for a decision. But when I said that, I'm being a bit harsh on Ramzan Temirov. He's fought in Ryzen before, so that's a pretty, I say, not quite the same level as the UFC, but still very good. Probably go as far as to say the best outside of North America or Europe, actually. Um, but anyway, so he's got a chance there, but it's a bit of a 50-50 chance for A. Cool Hand Puke is next to face the wheel, learn his fate. I'm not sure why there isn't sound on this wheel, by the way. So since I got my new PC, there hasn't been any sound on this wheel. I don't know what the cause of that one is, but I don't think you're all going to miss that. But let's see. And uh, he gets drawn with Manel Cape. So that is Cool Hand Puke with Manel Cape. Uh, as I've just sort of gone over a bit in the main event. The more more experienced in the promotion out of the two of them, and has got got the knockout win, so certainly uh, the more likely to finish the fights if it does end prematurely. Uh, but for me, I just think Almabayev, he should be able to survive uh, the early onslaught from Manel Cape. Um, so I think that, yeah, I'm more confident in Almabayev to avoid getting a knockout than I am on Cape to find that knockout. And if it does go the distance, I can't see Cape getting his hand raised due to his other yeah, due to the rest of the fight. I think it's just yeah, Almabayev just survives the early onslaught, controls the final rounds, in my opinion. I think that's how I see that one playing out. But again, very close though. I've sort of gone back and forth on it a few times, so that's another sort of 50-50 pick there for Cool Hand Puke. Okay, Dr. Maxis 2 is next to learn his fate. Let's see. Actually, I wonder if this little button down here, little sound button, doesn't seem to change at all. Okay, no, I was just wondering if that did anything. Well, anyway, so let's see what he gets. He gets Austin Lane. Austin Lane there for Dr. Maxis 2. Austin Lane. Um, Austin Lane's a bit of a funny fighter, isn't he? He was on a two-fight KO losing streak, and then he was paired up against the fairly renowned kickboxer Rebellious Despange, which in a fight which he was frankly set up to get knocked out in, and he ended up winning by decision anyway. So go work that one out. I've no idea how I've pulled that one out of his arse, to be honest. I mean, sure, Despange obviously gassed quite heavily in that, but so yeah, now after that, I'm not really putting anything past him. But the trouble is his reward for beating one of the UFC's prospects that was trying to build a bit. Is another a fight with another prospect, Mario Pinto, who's 9-0 in his UFC debut, won by KO. Um, it came through the contender series like so many prospects do these days. Uh, and yeah, he's only 26, so he's still got plenty of time on his side to improve. So he's definitely a fighter to keep an eye on, and then more importantly is that he's also got knockout power as well. So as I mentioned, it won the UFC debut by KO. Austin Lane, I know he kind of flipped the script a bit in his last fight, but he's still been KO'd before. I can't see why it wouldn't happen again potentially. And obviously Pinto has definitely better looking prospects or better all round prospects than Despange is. Even though I'd say out of the two, Despain should probably be the more likely to get a KO. So I don't know. The MMA maths just isn't working out here. But either way, I do fancy Pinto to get the win, and probably end it prematurely as well. So that's I'm not overly confident in that one, but Austin Lane pulled a surprise win out of his arse last time, so why not do it again? That's what Dr. Maxis 2 will certainly be hoping so. Right, okay, so we move on to Foghorn Sam next. Let's see who Foghorn Sam will be paired with for tomorrow night's action. And he gets William Gomez. William Gomez there for Foghorn Sam. And again, another very good looking prospect. 14 and 2 so far, so he's not too inexperienced. He's just past that stage where he's gone from being a fairly green fighter to somebody that certainly knows his way around the cage quite well. He's gone the distance quite a lot of the time as well. So he's got the rounds in, he's got the time in the experience from that. But that's not to say that he can't finish fights. He's got knockout power in his hands, and the thing that probably stands out the most for me for Gomez, though, is he came up through Ares, which is a very fast-growing European promotion, and it's a brilliant promotion to watch. It's if there's nothing, well, so I say if there's nothing else on, that's, if there's nothing else major on, which usually because they sometimes hold their cards on Thursdays for some reason, but definitely worth checking out. Um, their events when they hold them because there's I do as it goes by, I think a lot of more European fighters that are UFC bound would come via Ares, whereas traditionally they'd come up through Cage Warriors, or at least the British ones particularly, would come up through Cage Warriors. Ares, in my opinion, is starting to rival Cage Warriors. And as Cage Warriors particularly recently been focusing a lot more on the American market, um, I can see Eris coming in, just taking up the main European spot uh, for European promotions. I probably do still have it as third behind Cage Warriors and KSW. Um, so yeah, that's the fact that he's got that pedigree behind him. Yeah, like I said, there's nothing really about him that there's not really any reason to think he shouldn't get it done, particularly against his opponent Hyder Emil, who's not a bad prospect himself. 10 and 0, 2 and 0 in the UFC, both of those by knockout. Um, but I think really that's all he could potentially offer Gomez is really the knockout threat, which obviously always good to have a puncher's chance, but I I don't think that's really going to be too much of a problem for Gomez. Nothing that he wouldn't have seen before. Um, so yeah, overall, I think this is quite a good pick, and I would fully expect to see Foghorn Sam in the next round. Right, okay, so KK Kombu is next to learn his fate at the hands of the wheel. I mean, if the wheel probably doesn't have hands, but I don't know. It's quite a simple creature, isn't it, the wheel? But he gets Chepe Mariscal. I absolutely have not pronounced that one right, but particularly the first name, I don't know. Chepe Mariscal. How do you pronounce it? Chep or is it Chepe? I don't know. Don't know whether you got one of those little E's that's got the fancy little dingly dash thing above it. I don't know. Not sure whether you're meant to put a bit of flair when pronouncing that part on it, but I don't know. But yeah, anyway, going on to talking about him as a fighter rather than how to pronounce his name, I have picked him to win by decision against Ricardo Ramos. Um, it's I can't see it being the most memorable of fights to be true, but I think he's got a string of fairly comfortable decision wins going for him, and I see this being much the same really. Another comfortable unanimous decision win, so he just controls most of the action. Whereas, yeah, perhaps maybe not the uh he doesn't really hunt the finish as much as perhaps other fighters do. But I mean, it's not that he hasn't been entertaining at all, but he's been getting the wins in a more clinical manner, a more tactically sound and safer approach, which it certainly made it work for him. So can't knock it. If it ain't broken, don't fix it, and all that. Um, Ricardo Ramos won a split decision last time out, but that wasn't again. It's split decisions are always contentious, aren't they? I'd have to rewatch that to think whether he did win or not, but again, it's up to interpretation, isn't it? Um, Before that, though, he wasn't on the best of form. He was two fight losing streak, both of those by submission. So maybe that's an option. Maybe that's potentially how he might end up losing. But overall, it's just I think Mariscal's probably a level or two above him, in my opinion. Also interesting to know both of them actually have identical records and a very specific identical record at 17 and 6, but for both of them. So yeah, that's another deal. I think it'd be a while till we see somebody with two identical records like that, or that unique identical records like that. Anyway, but anyway, I think that KK Kombu will be joining Foghorn Sam in the next round. Um, Obviously, nothing's guaranteed. I mean, I thought there's be about in the final round of the last game. I thought there's going to be maybe at least three or four of you getting through from that one, from the eight that were in it, and then just he'll just fucking die, except for one, obviously. But so yeah. But anyway, halfway through, it's five down, five to go. On to Mule Floyd now. See who the wheels got in store for Mule Floyd, and he's also on the Austin Lane hype train. So our first double up. As I say, I can't see him causing much trouble for Mario Pinto. Got a surprise win last time. Yeah, fair play to him. He earned that win. Worked hard and worked hard over the course of the 15 minutes for that one. But yeah, he got the well-deserved win, so you can't knock him for that. But whether lightning strikes twice and he can do the same against Mario Pinto, as I mentioned earlier, I don't know. I think Mario Pinto will actually uh, do what the UFC would have wanted Rebellious Despange to do and knock out Austin Lane. Um, so yeah, is beats one prospect, gets paired up against an even better prospect. So that's a backhanded compliment if ever there was one. Like UFC basically saying to Austin Lane, right, okay, the last guy couldn't knock you out, so we'll see if this guy can knock you out. A bit of shady matchmaking going on there, but I don't know. Just throw him an easy fight for once. But anyway, overall, not overly confident in Mule Floyd's chances or Dr. Max's two's chances for that matter. Okay, Cian six next to learn his fate. Let's see what the wheels got in store for Cian six. And he gets Julian Marquez, who every time I see him, I always think he's a heavyweight, but I know he is only a middleweight because he absolutely rips. Is probably the most impressive physique in the middleweight division. Built like a bloody bodybuilder, isn't he? As for whether that translates to success, though, he certainly has got the KO power. So he's got that ability to potentially end a fight on um at any moment. But the trouble is, he's also been on the end of KOs. In fact, he's actually on a three-fight losing streak himself. Um, but he does have a surprisingly good ground game, though. That's probably the thing that, so as well as obviously his raw strength that can always finish a fight, he's better than you'd expect on the ground. He's got quite a few submission wins, and that's usually his go-to method when he is winning a fight. If he can bring the game to the ground, he's more dangerous on the ground than he is standing up. So that's always a bit of a curveball you can always throw at the opposition. In this case, is Cody Brundage, who again, it's similar sort of record actually. But Marquez 9 and 5, and Cody Brundage 10 and 6. But again, Brundage as well. He's also got that knockout power in him. A lot of his fights. A lot of his fights are actually rather controversial, aren't they? When you think about it, he had that no contest last time out, didn't he? When he accidental punches to the back of the head, and then one of his wins, I think it was about a year ago or so. He won because his opponent got DQ'd because of an elbow to the back of the head. So it's always worth keeping an eye on this fight, see what shit goes down in it. But so he always delivers violence in this fight, and against somebody like Marquez, who's on that three-fight knockout loss streak, which is never ideal. Let's be honest, nobody wants to get knocked out three times in a row. It's not really. Yeah, it's just a very bad matchup, really, when you think about it. Um, if Marquez can take him down, that's Marquez's way to victory and Six's way to victory. But I think Brundage is gonna find a way of finishing him. I think Marquez's chin is probably gone at this point. I I'm not sure exactly how old he is, but he's not exactly a spring chicken either. So yeah, it could be that he's a bit washed now. His chin's gone, and if that's the case, then Brundage should finish him. And, I've predicted second round knockout for Cody Brundage there anyway. But we'll see. Stranger things have happened, but um, I'll be surprised to see CN6 in the next round. Okay, the MMA historian is up next, hoping the wheel's not about to make him MMA history, or at least Lucky Bastard Game history for this edition anyway. Uh, and he's not going home just yet, in my opinion. He's got Mario Pinto, who I've been glazing a fair bit in this video. Um, but to be fair, I think with good reason. He's very good looking prospect, still undefeated. Well, won his UFC debut by knockout. Came through contender series as mentioned, and yeah, and only 26. He's looks like a complete package so far. And his stamina's good as well. He's gone into the later rounds, gone all the way before, so he's got the stamina. If to last if somebody does push him into deep waters. But to be honest, I don't think Austin Lane's the guy to do that. Really, I think Austin Lane might push him into the second round, but I can't see it any more than that. Um, yeah, this is basically I can't really read this as any other way other than Austin Lane being set up to get knocked out. Um, but anyway, in terms of the game, it does make it quite interesting now that we've got Dr. Maxis 2 and Mule Floyd with Austin Lane, and now the MMA historian with Mario Pinto, so 2v1 there. And there's only two other people left to be drawn, so realistically, I think that's probably going to be the unofficial Tapology Lucky Bastard Game main event for this round. Yeah, Austin Lane versus Mario Pinto, the prelim main event, that's for sure. But certainly a lot of interest in that fight for this game, anyway. Okay, down to the last two now, and we got Uber matched is up next. Let's see who Uber match is going to be paired with, and he gets Andrea Lee. Andrea Lee there for Uber match. And I'm going to be honest, every time I see her pop up on a fight card, I'll be like, is she seriously still in the UFC? Because she's just one of those fighters I'd have assumed they'd have got cut by now, but they haven't, and they're still it. Like every year, like I say, after every loss, I just assume right, okay, that's probably her last in the promotion because she's gone on a hell of a losing streak now. It's she's lost the last five in a row, which normally that's enough to get somebody cut, particularly a prelim fighter like Andrea Lee. That is, it's yeah, that's so there's obviously a reason the UFC keeping her around, and she's a pretty good gatekeeper, or not gatekeeper, more journeywoman, really. Let's be honest, more of a UFC journeywoman is probably a more fitting term. Not disrespectfully, but it's 5-8 in the UFC. And so she's 36 now as well. So it's not like she's going to turn it around and suddenly go on a streak. She's not like in Tony Ferguson's position, who's also gone on a losing streak. But at least with him, we know he's just hitting his prime. And he's going to turn it around, have another 12 fight win streak. But at the moment, though, yeah, being serious, yeah, she's still in the promotion somehow. And I mean, she can't be finished. She always puts like a good fight. It's not like she's completely shit. She just can't get the win. She just goes the distance every time, and it's always one of those fights where she's not really at risk of getting finished, but it's um yeah, just a case of well, he certainly didn't win that fight either. So anyway, she's up against JJ Aldrich, who again, it's not a fighter I rate very highly, to be honest, but I do rate her. She shouldn't have any trouble against Andrea Lee. Um, got her to win by decision naturally, simply because I can't. Finishing Lee is a tough job because she always puts a hell of a fight. She's always there for the full 15 minutes to her credit. So yeah, so it's I can't see Aldrich finishing her, and but then again, I certainly can't see Lee beating Aldrich. So it kind of puts me in the corner where I have to pick JJ Aldrich by a decision win. Um, JJ Aldrich, so I suppose if you look at the potential motivation, like one factor you've got to consider for both fighters here. Um, JJ Aldrich is coming off a loss against Veronica Hardy last time out by decision. Again, that's a recurring theme in women's MMA. I think you'll find, and she'll she'll be looking to bounce back. Like obviously, you want to yeah, obviously always want to come back. You don't want to go onto a little streak if you're out, and you always want to obviously always want to win, but especially so after a loss, regain that confidence if nothing else. Andrea Lee, her motivation, well, I mean, she's on a five-fight losing streak, and to be honest, I think there's only so long you can go on a losing streak before you are cut, and she's, in my opinion, fighting for her job. If she loses this, I don't understand why it wouldn't be her last in the UFC. Um, so yeah, I don't know. But in any case, anyway, I can't really see Ubermash making it through to the next round being paired with Andrea Lee. That's a pretty unfortunate pick, in my opinion. Okay, so we go on to the final one now. Ex-Con Chris. Let's see who Ex-Con Chris will be drawn with. Let's see. Who's he going to be paired with? And he gets Nasrat Hak Harassed. Probably not pronounced that one right, but apologies if I haven't. Um, how the hell are we spelling that even? Haq um para para st, I think. I know which one I mean anyway. Um but yeah, I suppose that sort of ends this video on a positive note anyway, because Nasrat has Barat, one of the ones I picked to win by decision as well. I do tend to pick a lot of decisions to be fair. So uh that's one thing to consider with my analysis. When I say oh by decision, it's a case of I am probably underestimating these fighters quite a lot sometimes. So, but um, that's purely in this case based on the fact that most of his fights he does win by decision a lot, and fairly comfortably as well. It's again that's just his style. That's just how he wins fights, and it works for him. So you can't knock it. And they're always entertaining fights as well. They're not. It's not like through to the due to inactivity. He's always active. He's not stalling at all. Did get a KO actually against Jamie Malarkey. Um, but yeah, anyway, he's up against Esteban Ribovics. Anyway, if I've pronounced that right, again, probably haven't, but who also tends to go the distance quite a lot, thinking about it. But yeah, it's just he did have that. Who was it against that big head kick? That's first thing that really pops into my mind actually, Robo, because when I was looking through his record, I thought he'd been mostly yeah, it was Terence McKinney, that's it. When he knocks out with that head kick, and when I was looking through his record, I was expecting to find more KOs as of late because that's the first thing that comes into my head when I think of him. But it's that head kick against Terence McKinney, and but I was surprised that he's won more by decision than I was expecting him to. Uh, so maybe he can pull off another head kick, maybe. Um, but if that probably be his best chance of victory, in my opinion, because I think if he also tries to play the tactically sound outpointing game, if he plays it against Hasparat, yeah, I think Hasparat's going to come out on top in that style of fight. So if it turns into a bit of a sort of a fast paced, but um, like I say, both of them prefer to stay on their feet. It'll be a fast paced MMA chess match. Make for a very interesting fight. But one that I reckon that I don't know how do you pronounce that. Nasrat Nasrat has Nasrat Hakparast, I think, should end up winning. Right, okay, so that concludes a little weekly ramble about all things UFC related and Lucky Bastard game related. I'll just run over those names one more time, so just refresh who's been drawn with who. We have A with Ramazan Temirov, Cool Hand Puke with Manel Cape, Dr. Maxis 2 with Austin Lane, Four Corn Sam with William Gomez, KK Kombu with Chepe Mariscal, Mule Floyd also with Austin Lane, Sion 6 with Julian Marquez, the MMA Historian with Mario Pinto, Uber Match with Andrea Lee, and Exxon Chris with Nasrat Harast. So, anyway, that concludes the draw for the third round of the 27th edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard game. And it's a bit of a mixed bag, isn't it? It's if I'm being completely honest, some good, not some not so good. As usual, I think we'd probably expect about half of you to go through, but then again, that's what I said in the final round of the last game, so I don't know. But all that leaves me to say is good luck for everyone in this game. Good luck with your picks on Tapology. Uh, if you got any bets on this card, good luck in those, and until next time. So long for now.